All right, class, so we are on problem number 6 now. We have to factor this bad boy. So x squared is like saying x times x. This problem is actually kind of straightforward. And our denominator is just x minus 2. So for the x-intercepts, what we need to do is set y is equal to 0. So we do 0 is equal to x times x over x minus 2. But we cross multiply, right? So 0 times x minus 2 is just 0. So we kind of wasted our time. So what we could have done was set the numerator equal to 0, right? So 0 is equal to x times x. Or you could have done it the other way, saying 0 is equal to x squared. They both get the same result. Our solution is just 0, because 0 times 0 is, well, 0. Or you can just take the square root of 0, which is simply 0. Two ways to do it. So we have an x-intercept at 0, which also means that the y-intercept is also at 0, right? So this is the point at 0, 0. This is your x-intercept. So your y-intercept is also 0, 0. We don't really need to do the work, but if you really wanted to, you could figure out what f of 0 is, which means take x, replace it with 0. So this is like saying 0 over negative 2, which is 0. Right? So vertical asymptotes. The vertical asymptote is when the denominator, set the denominator equal to 0 and solve for x. So x minus 2 is 0. Add 2 to both sides. The vertical asymptote is at x is equal to 2. So we have a vertical asymptote at 2. Right. To find the slant asymptote, we simply divide. So this right here, right? The degree of the numerator is 2. The degree of our denominator is 1. So we do the long division. So we set it up. X minus 2 goes on the left. And then x squared goes on the right. And I typically put placeholders. So this is plus 0x plus 0. And then I divide. So on the side, I'm doing x squared divided by x. I look at the leading terms. X goes inside x squared, x times, because x squared divided by x to the power 1 is simply just x. Right? So x goes on top, and we are subtracting the product of x times x minus 2. Right? We're doing x times this guy. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. So I subtract that. So it'll be x squared minus 2x. This goes away. So 0x minus negative 2x is like saying positive 2x. And then I drop that down. Right? So when you're finding the slant, we really care about the quotient, which is the stuff that we get on top of the division symbol. All right. So now we're left with 2x divided by x. 2x divided by x is 2. So plus 2. And that's it. That is our slant. Y is equal to x plus 2. Right? So even if you mess up with the remainder, right? So this should be 2x, because 2 times x is 2x. And then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So that goes away. 0 minus negative 4 is positive 4. Right? But we don't really care because the slant is just the quotient. Right? So x plus 2 means it has a y-intercept of 2. Boop. And the slope is 1. So you go up 1 over 1, up 1 to the right 1. Or you go down 1 to the left 1, down 1 to the left 1. So you have some slant that looks like that. Nice. Now you just plug in a bunch of numbers, right? So we can make a sign chart, or we can just plug in some numbers. We already know that it's 0, 0. So that one's basic 0, 0, right? That's the x and y intercept. You can plug in like 1, right? 1 squared over 1 minus 2 is 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. So negative 1, right? If I plug in, say, like negative 1, that will be 1 over negative 3. So negative 1/3, right? So something that looks like that. So it does something like that. It hugs the asymptote, right? So we say that the limit as x goes to 2 from the left is negative infinity. And from the right, it's going to go to positive infinity. It goes in the opposite direction, right? So it's going to look something like that. Right, so if you want to be more precise though, yeah, you should use your calculator to plug in some values or make a sign chart. So let's say I want to plug in 3, right? If I plug in 3 squared over 3 minus 2, 3 squared is 9, 3 minus 2 is 1, so 3 goes in, 9 goes out. So 3, 9, so something that looks like that, right? And the domain is simply all real numbers, x does not equal to 2. And we are done.